the VC industry in China is taking a huge blow. Their crackdown on big tech is a boon for U.S. tech monopolies today and over the coming years. Sequoia is going to potentially split from Sequoia Capital China. They are going to potentially just sever ties with their Chinese entity. China venture investing is down. China and venture investing, specifically from U.S. firms investing in China. Phenomenal news. Why is that phenomenal news? Because you can't trust the CCP, and we should not be doing business with communists. Very plain and simple. What would seemingly be a controversial statement in 2021 would not have been a controversial statement 20 or 30 years ago. You can't trust the communists. We thought we were going to change the communists. We were wrong. They have become ultra aggressive and shown their true colors, whether it's COVID, whether it's their crackdown on any kind of civil liberties for their people, whether it's abusing the power of big tech in China to further enforce the will of the government and take away the liberties of the people. It's just really unfortunate to see the direction that China and the Communist Party have taken things, which is why we can't support it. We can't get involved. And as an investor, you can't trust putting money to work in the country. You just can't do it. And that has been evidenced by the fall from grace all of Chinese big tech companies have endured now for the past year plus or so. And that's just going to continue. President Xi has an ego unlike, I don't know. I mean, probably the biggest ego on the planet. I don't know. We've got here an article, China's venture investors see a 65% drop in fundraising. What that means is these are dollars raised by VCs that invest in Chinese tech startups. VC firms that invest US dollars in Chinese tech startups have raised far less money this year than in the past. Such firms have raised $4.2 billion this year so far. Again, this is, at the end of 2021, December 20th, down 65% from all of last year. China-based VC firms that invest in startups using yuan, right? So these are raising money from Chinese investors, experienced an even steeper drop. Just 14 funds raised the equivalent of $1.7 billion US dollars in yuan, down 79% from last year. So the VC industry in China is taking a huge blow, which, from a US standpoint is great news. Another article here, why Sequoia Capital could split from basically Sequoia Capital China. Rising geopolitical tensions could spell the end of a 16-year relationship for Sequoia Capital and Sequoia Capital China. I mean, 16-year relationship. This is their Chinese entity, but they're not probably allowed to kind of own it. But it's Sequoia Capital China. Sequoia is going to potentially split from Sequoia Capital China. That's not like some partnership. This is their subsidiary in China. Whether they fully control the subsidiary or not is separate. They are going to potentially just sever ties with their Chinese entity. I mean, this is a big deal. We predict the U.S. venture powerhouse and its Chinese affiliate will move to part ways next year as the Chinese government extends a regulatory crackdown on tech companies and U.S. investment firms grow more reluctant to pour money into China. Wow, right? So the great decoupling is happening. That's the decoupling between U.S. and China, the West and communists, and it's picking up speed. Thanks to President Xi, frankly. They understand. They're very smart. They understand the power that China gets from their big tech monopolies. They understand this very, very well. Better than the US understands it, I would argue. Not only do the Chinese big tech monopolies give the CCP power in China, but it gives them power globally in emerging markets like India, which we've talked so much about. In the United States, like with TikTok and Zoom, Tencent, an investor in Reddit, about to go public. So they understand this all too well, frankly, too well for my liking. But despite all of that, they are weakening their Chinese tech monopolies. And when you weaken the Chinese tech monopolies, that has repercussions like this, right? Because now if the prospect of going public and having an exit is hampered and that predictability goes away, which it has now, thanks to the CCP's crackdown on Chinese tech monopolies. That is then going to thwart investor appetite to take the risk to invest in the startups, which means less unicorns on the horizon, over the next 3 to 5 years, which means that not only are the Chinese tech monopolies of today in a retrenching mode, many of them are having to cut back on their international investments and kind of just refocus on the domestic business. And China is such a huge market. I mean, you need the China market to spin off the profits and the dollars to go invest in emerging and international markets, right? So the CCP has completely shaken all of that up, distracted Chinese tech monopolies from being able to focus as aggressively, both just from a time, attention, and capital standpoint to invest abroad, which has been a boon for, guess who? US tech monopolies. It's good. But now, as you see the VC community in China also take a hit, also have less dollars to invest in earlier stage Chinese tech companies, that is going to have repercussions on the ability to have more unicorns down the road, right? What is the next billion-dollar tech opportunity? When you think about how that battle spills out into emerging markets, which is really where the big battle is between US and Chinese tech monopolies, is not so much in China and the US. It is a little bit there, okay? But the real big battles are in emerging markets, Southeast Asia, India, South America, Africa, Europe. The unicorns, the next unicorns, right? In the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're the ones that are on kind of that hot opportunity. What's the next wave? What's the next trend? And you need those unicorns to pioneer the trend domestically and then bring that to the other adjacent markets and emerging markets. Case in point, look at Uber. Look at Uber, right? They were on top of ride sharing in the US. Clearly, first mover advantage for ride sharing in the US. And then they doubled and tripled down. They're raising dollars on a very high valuation commanded in the US market. And then they were taking those dollars and investing them internationally, where you look at all the international markets that Uber operates in. They bought some startups that had started in key markets, and they bought them cheap because they understood the economics and they had the valuation to support and they had the dollars to put in. I mean, they made so much money. Even Uber China, which then got consumed into Didi, they made billions of dollars on their investment in Uber China. There are things that we should be thanking President Xi for and his ego. Their crackdown on big tech is a boon for US tech monopolies today and over the coming years, like we are seeing with Chinese venture investing taking a huge blow. The CCP's aggressiveness, their irresponsible actions, and their aggressiveness to just become more totalitarian, more authoritarian in China and to exert their will abroad has shown their true colors and is all a part of the Great Decoupling. It's all a part of the Great Awakening, where people are seeing communism trying to rise up and people are not happy about it. So, thank you, President Xi, for showing us your true colors. Thank you, President Xi, for making these decisions much easier. For a lot of us that have known this for a long time, but for a lot of us that, just weren't paying attention to it, it's not part of their daily life or activities, but they can understand it very clearly. And they are. And more of them are joining that fight every day. Hi, I'm Alex. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, but even better, make sure to follow us on Odyssey, follow us on Rumble, and text us 203-646-5159. Text the word Monopoly. You'll be subscribed. You'll get updates about when we're going live, our latest videos, and we'll send you even a little goodie bag. And in the event that we all get banned from big tech, we'll still be connected.